Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Andrew Oppenheimer with North American Market Services at Nasdaq to discuss Nasdaq's midpoint extended life order, or what we call M-ELO, an order that is designed to match like-minded investors on a broker neutral exchange and only execute against other M-ELO orders. Andrew, it's great to have you back with us on Trade Talks. And over the past couple of months with us working from home and increased market volatility, how has M-ELO volume performed?
Yeah, so it's been really great. We made the enhancement to the holding period. We reduced it by 98% from 500 milliseconds to 10 milliseconds. And so volumes have increased substantially. We were doing about 8-9 million shares a day. Prior to that, we are now around 15.5 million shares a day. And we peaked about 20+ million shares a day in our first week since the change. So we're really excited. One of the things that we're really look for is, the customer impact and how they are viewing the order type since the change, and it's been going really well.
All right, great. And you have a couple of slides here to share with us specific to performance. Walk us through that.
Sure. So the first chart we look at is the absolute response to an execution in M-ELO. And what that is measuring is basically whether the market moves up or down, we want to see the impact to that trade. And it does it on a shorter term horizon. So we don't go any further out than 20 milliseconds. And as you can see, M-ELO peaks around, around the first 2 milliseconds at around 8/10 of a basis point, and then trends lower throughout the remaining study, going out to 20 milliseconds, outperforming any of the other 13 exchanges, the TRF at the midpoint, and really happy with that. And actually, if I can continue, we looked at it prior to the change, and that trend is almost identical. A little bit of a peak right after the trade to be expected, and then levels out as we move on to the later time horizons.
And tell us about reloads.
Yeah, so one of the things we want to see is that customers are having a good experience in M-ELO. And that's just not based on volume, it's how often they come back to using the order type after an execution. So we define reload as a firm who resends an order after they received an execution no later than 5 seconds after that execution. So it has to be the same firm, same side of the order, and the same symbol. And when they come back, we know that they're looking for more liquidity where they first found it. And when we look at reloads from prior to the change to now, these 2 weeks, we've seen an increase of about 20% in reloads. So really happy with that. It's sort of like a heat map. These algos or traders, find liquidity and they want to go back to the spot where they found it. And they're doing more so in M-ELO since that change.
And that's encouraging. Any other feedback that you can share with us?
Yeah, so it's volume, it's the absolute response, and of course, our well-known quote stability metrics that we use. When we made the change, we obviously looked at the data very carefully to make sure we were doing the right thing. And now that we're 2 weeks in, we still want a larger data set, but the first 2 weeks have shown quote stability has remained high in the 100 milliseconds after the execution. Quote stability is around 90+%, 91, 92, again, where it was prior. And then at the 1 second in that low 80s, high 70% mark. So again, M-ELO is continuing to do exactly what we designed it to do, provide a high quality execution, and have customers, have that midpoint execution where they get the liquidity, have the good experience, and we're outperforming all of our, all the TRF at the midpoint, other exchanges at the midpoint. So very, very exciting. At Nasdaq, we kind of have this saying, a couple things: do no harm to the markets, do what the data tells you to do, and listen to your customers. And when you marry all three of those, you're on the right path to building the right product. It's kind of like our North Star.
All right, Andrew, thanks so much for joining me on Trade Talks.
Thanks.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.